Human connection is so important. It's the reason of, I guess, who I am today.
Kris Fade,
veteran radio DJ,
social entrepreneur and a reality star.
The one and only Kris Fade.
You've always got to come back to where we are today, and that is the basics of being a human. And there's a lot of you in this room right now that struggle with that. The amount of deals that I have done, the amount of collaborations that I've done, the amount of opportunities that I have had in my life is because of who I am talking to another person. I didn't step into a radio studio until I was 24 years old. For 3 years, I learned how to do radio from these guys. I was getting my experience. And right now, people don't want to get experience. And if they do, they want to be paid. It is going back to basics. It's networking. Eye contact, smile, say hello, project. I want you to do that right now. Talk to people, say hello to them. You will always have relationships ready to be formed. It is up to you if you want to make it. Yo, now someone make some noise! Come on! Wow. What was that? I love you. Can you make sure you tag me? Because I need more followers than all these guys here. All right? Everyone's getting introduced with like 4 million followers. And I'm like, I got 700,000. Am I adequate to be in this room? I want to say thank you so much for being here. Human connection. I'm on a time limit. I'm never usually on a time limit, but we're going to do it today. Human connection is so important. It's the reason of, I guess, who I am today. And there's a lot of you in this room right now that struggle with that. And I want to go back to some of the basics. All right? We're talking the basics right now. Because a lot of you are great at creating content, but you're missing what the basics are. Eye contact, smile, saying hello, and just to project your voice. All right? Who has not said hello to the person next to them already in this room? Do you know each other? What about the people behind you? Some of you are laughing right now, but there are some people in this room that will go an entire day without eye contact, saying hello to someone, saying good morning. A lot of us work in an office where we don't know everybody's name, where we just stick to ourselves. And back to basics means no matter how big you get on a social media platform, you've always got to come back to where we are today. And that is the basics of being a human. Saying good morning to one another, saying hello to each other. Because your next opportunity, your next $1 million deal could be in this room. And you have no idea because you never spoke to that person. The amount of deals that I have done, the amount of collaborations that I've done, the amount of opportunities that I have had in my life is because of who I am talking to another person. I found out that we have something in common and we can work together. And it may not be this very moment, but it definitely will happen. I've met people that 7 years later, I have been able to do some type of collab or business deal with. So whilst you're in this room, you are all on the same vision here. The guys at the front have made it, supposedly, when it comes to content creating and their following. For many of you, you want to get to that. And if that's what you want to do, you're all on the same path here. Collaborate with each other today. Make sure you get out of this room before you do, understanding what everyone does in this room. Because someone in this room can help you out and vice versa. Does that make sense? Your network is your net worth. It is such a cliche saying. I hear it, but it's so freaking true. It's so true. I didn't go to college to do what I did. It's my people that I've met over the years to allow me to do what I've done. So grow your network. They can be your friends. They can be your family members. They can be people that you just met. We live in a city called Dubai, and we all know how great this city is because everyone really does want to help each other. And that's what you want to be able to do. So grow your network. I want to touch on my journey. A lot of people ask me, how did you get to Dubai and what happened? Let me tell you, my first opportunity. I dropped out of school. Well, I finished school, but I got 39 out of 100, which did not allow me to go to university in Sydney. My parents, being the parents that they are, typical Lebanese parents, you're going back to do your last year again. You have to go to college. I couldn't do that. I was 17, 18 years old, and I'm supposed to make my life decision then. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So nearly 4 years of my life, those first 4 years, I worked as a barista, I cleaned cars, I opened up a cleaning company, I was cleaning offices, I was just trying to find myself. And for many of you in this room, you're trying to find yourself. You still aren't sure. You're even here at this summit right now, and you don't even know if this is you. You're trying to work it out, and that's okay. It doesn't have to happen right now. I didn't step into a radio studio until I was 24 years old. That was the first time I ever got into a radio studio. I was 24. Who here is under the age of 25? Have we got anyone under the age of 25 right now? All right, so you guys at your age, I didn't even touch radio. I had no idea what it was. I didn't even understand what a microphone really did. But my experience is priceless. Because as I was doing all these other weird jobs, there was an opportunity to be a promotions driver for a radio station in Sydney called The Edge 96.1. And I thought, I'm gonna give this a go. So it was called Job Survivor. There were 20 of us, and we were all trying to get that one job on the radio station to drive the promotion vehicle. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give this a go. And yes, it was before social media. We had to give them a VHS tape, an audition tape. We recorded it on a camcorder, and that's the way that we actually sort of submitted it. After 2.5 weeks of working for free for this radio station, they made us do some crazy things. I had to go to a really bad suburb in Sydney at 7 o'clock in the morning, take my shirt off, and have 96 random people put cookies on my body with butter. They wanted to see if they could get 96, because the station was called 96.1. They wanted to know how far I would go to get this job, and I did it. Now, after 2.5 weeks, I didn't win. The girl that won it got the job. I was disappointed. But in those 2.5 weeks, I got to meet some people at the radio station. I got to meet the boss, the promotions manager, the marketing manager. I interacted with them. That's what I do. I don't shut up. I just talk. A month later, they called me up. The girl that won the job crashed the car and quit. And they said, would you still be interested? I was still cleaning toilets, washing cars, making coffee. I said, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I want to do it. So I became their promotion driver. Being one of the only Arabs on radio, they called me Street Kid Habib. And that was my name for 3 years in that radio station. Street Kid Habib, that was me. I had a foot in the door. I wasn't a radio presenter. I was just driving their car around, giving out cans of Coke, giving out chips, doing the basic stuff as you did. But what it allowed me to do was my pass took me up to level 3. Level 3 where all the radio studios were. And that's where it gave me access. I would pop up there and see these radio presenters doing their thing, and I'd be like, wow, this is cool. And then I realized, I think I want to try this. And thankfully and gratefully, these radio presenters took me in, and they let me learn. For 3 years, I learned how to do radio from these guys. I wasn't getting paid. I was doing the promotions job during the day. I would then go clean the offices, but at night, and I mean 9 o'clock at night, I would drive myself to the studios and learn from these guys. I was getting free help. I was getting my experience. And right now in this room, people don't want to get experience. And if they do, they want to be paid. Experience is priceless. Priceless. What I learned in my 2 years of just from these guys was better than any college degree, journalism degree, anywhere. I'm not disrespecting that, but I'm saying I learned firsthand. I was able to do it. So if you can get experience from someone already doing it, if you can be an intern for a moment of time that you can gain that experience, do it. Do it now. Risk. You're going to take them, and that's okay. I eventually got a job on the radio station in the evenings. And the way that I got that was the big boss pulled me aside one day and said, I'm never going to put you on the radio, Kris. I just want to let you know. And I was so disappointed. 2 weeks later, he got fired. The new guy came in. Instantly, I introduced myself. He goes, what do you do? I said, I drive the car around. I was 24 years old. He's like, I like you. He goes, do you do radio? I said, I want to be on the radio. He's like, I'll give you a chance. And then he put me on my old boss's shift, which was crazy. And I still remember going into Civic Video, which was like Blockbuster in Sydney, and my old boss was working behind the counter at the Blockbuster. And it was such, I walked out, I felt awkward. I didn't want to do that confrontation, right? But there are always risks involved in what you do, and that's okay. After 4 years of radio in Sydney, I won a bunch of awards and everything was going great. But then there was an opportunity to start the first Virgin Radio brand in the Middle East for a radio station. I got a call from this guy. Now, he didn't call me, all right? But we are now on emails together, and that's no word of a lie. Sir Richard Branson wanted to open up their first ever Virgin Radio brand in the Middle East when it comes to radio. We have a bunch around the world. They had never put their footprint in the Middle East. Dubai was the city that they wanted to do it in 16 years ago. Virgin Radio Dubai could have been any radio station. It did not have to be the radio station that it is today. But for nearly 1.5 years, they studied the market and they worked out what does the listeners, you guys, want. We built a radio station. My companion at the time, my old boss, should I say, Steve Pulley, him and I flew out here. We knew nobody in this city, 0 people in this city, all right? I had about 10,000 dirhams to my name. I brought my ex-wife, my wife at the time, with me. We got married because they told me you can't live here legally, and so I just married the girl that I met within 6 months. Don't do that. We came out here. We started this radio station and we built a radio station, not what we wanted, it was what you guys wanted. We made sure that our presenters were from all over the world because that's what Dubai is, a city from all over the world. We weren't just all Brits, just Aussies, just South Asians. We mixed it up and that's what we did. And we got in tune with the city. And within 1.5 years, we became the #1 radio station from an English side in the country. And every year on, the ratings that we do get, we still remain that. My show alone has about 1.2 million listeners every single week, just in this city alone. Building a brand. I'm gonna go way off time here. What do you stand for? Keeping it real. Don't try to be funny or famous. My first mentor said to me, do not get into anything if you're trying to get rich, if you want to be funny, or if you're trying to be famous. You do any of those three, it will never happen. He told me and it sits with me. Don't get into this because you're trying to make money and become rich and famous. Don't do it. Because 99% of it won't happen. Get in it because you love it and it's a passion. My role now on radio, I absolutely love it. Waking up at 4:10 every single morning is horrible. But because it's my passion and I get to do it, it's amazing. Building your brand and understanding your audience is so key to work out why it is you're doing what you're doing. Don't do it just for the cash. I get to do all this and I love it. Will Smith, The Rock, there's Ryan Seacrest. We have a lot of fun, the Nickelodeon Choice Awards. This is content. Right? And we do it every single day on the radio. And there was a moment nearly 6 years ago where they said, radio's gonna die. Or you content creators, they're coming. They're coming, no one's gonna tune into the radio anymore. But what we did is, we did make a little pivot, and I heard it in our last speaker, a little pivot, a little shift. We made sure that we decided to make sure that social media, it was a collab with radio. So anything that we do here, we do on social, and it works back and forth. And any of our guests that come in as well, we use them to promote our show. So whoever comes in, we say, here are our handles. They're promoting our handles at the same time, and we're working in this ecosystem. It is going back to basics. It's networking. It's making sure that you're all pushing each other. I want to go to the next one. It's okay to fail, and I did. I failed big time, and a lot of you guys never knew this, and I tell this story because I think it's so important. I became obese. I was 128 kilos. That's the largest I got, and it wasn't just because I was eating. I was clinically depressed and suffering from anxiety, and I had no idea what that was. I was about 31 years old, And I had zero experience of these feelings. And in your journey of creating, as a creator, you can't, when you feel anxious and depressed, you don't want to create anymore. It stops. There's a feeling that stops, and I had that. But every single morning, I had to wake up and do this radio show. And I had a fear, and no one knew this except my sister and my mother. I had a fear of, I couldn't open up the studio door to do my radio show. It was scaring me. I'd nearly have a panic attack. And I had to give myself deep breaths of just to get into the studio. And then I had to do this show for 4 hours and pretend everything was great. Hello, Mom. Hello, Dad. It's Virgin Radio, where deep down inside, I was dying. Like, I was feeling like it. I went to a psychiatrist. He gave me a bunch of pills. I started popping those things. This is what antidepressants do. This is what makes you happy. This is supposed to make me feel better. And it didn't. It didn't make me feel better. Depression, anxiety, it was all there. And then I got a divorce. And those three together brought me so low, like I was rock bottom. I was rock bottom. What did he say? Is he telling me to get off? Then I discovered this, baby. Anyone ever tried our snacks, by the way? Thank you. This never started off as a snack company. Fade Fit's one of the largest local snack companies now in the region. Any Starbucks you go to in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, you can find us. But it didn't start off like that. It started off, well, no, not like that. Started off like that. What this was is I found health and I started to get fit and I started to go to the gym every day. I was eating healthier and it made me feel better. And I'm telling you now, if you suffer from anxiety, and there are people in this room that do, and if there's people who are depressed in this room, which there are people that are depressed in this room, go out for a walk, go for a run, start to get active. It is better than any pill that you'll ever take. That's how I felt. My followers started asking me, how did you lose your weight? How did you get fit? What did you do? I used to reply back and forth. Eventually I said, I'm doing this. We had 2,500 people rock up. That's not all of them. We did a day of wellness, similar to this, but we talked about wellness. We had psychologists there, nutritionists there, personal trainers. I was there. People walked out of this in tears. And that was the conception of Fade Fit. That was when I realized, wow, I also have a responsibility. And talking about building brands and using everything together, I then encapsulated that and we created this, our healthiest snack company, which is now across the UAE, Middle East right now as we expand. So using yours, you guys say that some of you want to make the money out of it. Don't go into it making money, but build your audience, build your quote unquote fans, give them a reason to come to you. And then from there, you can start to use your platform to do whatever else you need to do. Like, I had LeBron James and Bugs Bunny on our packets, man. Like, that was crazy for us. Within 2 years, we had this. If you're ever in Starbucks, look for us. Anyone right there. Keep it real and be consistent. I've got a few more minutes here. And I do want to tell you this. Remember, don't try to be famous. Do not try to be funny. Okay? Don't. You try to be funny, it's going to come off cringy. Opportunities. You'll get to start working with some of the biggest opportunities. These are some of the brands that I get to work with. And we work together. They build me, I build them. It's not a one-way situation. Whoever you're in contact with, how can you help them and how can they help you? Work it out. Work together. All right, Netflix. I did a reality show. Wow. Who's watched Dubai Bling? I didn't realize how big this show was until I went and I got off a plane in Australia, and the police was there when I got off the plane, and I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done? They had been waiting for me. And they just said, oh, we knew you were coming, mate. We just wanted to click a quick selfie if you don't mind. And I was like, wow. Netflix is a monster in itself when it comes to the reach. It's huge. I've never experienced anything like it. From social media to actually the amount of people that now stop no matter where I go in the world, LA, Qatar, Australia, here, everyone's watched it. Why did we do it? A lot of people ask me, why did you do it, Kris? I did it because I want to connect all my brands, and I wanted to be 70 years old looking back going, I did this reality show once on Netflix. How and why did I do that? But I'm glad I did it. I took a risk. And for you waiting for season 2, it will be out before the end of the year, okay, guys? So it's coming. Conclusion, there isn't one. But remember, don't do anything to be famous, funny, or to make money. Do it because you love it and you want to do it. Eye contact, smile, say hello, project. I want you to do that right now. When you're leaving these rooms, when you walk out back into the light, talk to people, say hello to them. Don't just not talk to people. Pretty Malik, the girl that I've done my radio show with for 15 years, she's my closest friend in the world. The reason how she got her job, she used to come and just say good morning to me. We would walk past each other. She'd say good morning. I say good morning. Good morning, good morning. That good morning turned into how was your weekend? Weekend was good. We then felt and we formed a little relationship. She was working in the news department 3 levels up. And then when the opportunity came that I needed someone to join my show, they were going to go to the States or the UK or to find someone. I said, hey, we got this girl. Her name's Pretty Malik, and she's only 3 levels up. And then she joined the show, and she's a professional newsreader. She now just does our show, right, every day. And you hear her on the radio, and she's amazing. She got the job because she made eye contact. She said hello. We formed a relationship. In this room today and outside here, you will always have relationships ready to be formed. It is up to you if you want to make it. My team are going to hand out some of my snacks to a few of you. Share them around. My name's Kris Fade. I love you guys. Take care. Yalla, bye.
Subscribe for more sessions of NAS Summit from around the world.